The hardest part about feeling enslaved by capitalism in my corporate job and life in general, and being constantly on the edge of a breakdown because I am constantly working, doing the same thing every single day, just trying to make ends meet, and then more stress just falls on top of me, and I don't get any of that time just to decompress and pull myself out of it and feel who I am again. The hardest part of all that is knowing that I'm a child loss mom, knowing that all of this could end in a second with one phone call, with one discovery of some sort of traumatic event. All of this could crumble down and it would be for nothing. It would be for nothing except just paying bills to the man, you know? None of this matters. None of this matters. None of this job stuff matters when literally I know it could all end in a second with just one phone call of someone being dead. Literally, my life could crumble tomorrow, today, in a second. My life could be over again. And I feel like, what am I doing all this for? What am I doing all this for? Why am I letting myself get so stressed out, so burnt out, putting all this energy into things I don't care about just to make ends meet? I just feel like I'm drowning all the time. I feel like I'm drowning. I don't know who I am anymore. I haven't felt a zest or happiness for life in so long. I haven't worked out in months. I haven't written a thing in weeks. And even then, it felt like a struggle, like I was trying so hard just to do it. All I want to do is help people. I want to be a light in people's lives. I want to bring people up. I want to be that person for people. And yet, I go into work, I type on my little computer all day doing stuff I literally don't give a crap about at all. All day, talking to people maybe 5 minutes all day long, just staring at a computer, clock in, clock out, same thing every day. And I feel like I'm wasting my life doing things for other people instead of for me. I don't do anything for me anymore. I don't do anything for me at all. I feel like I'm constantly output production, doing things for others in not a healing spiritual way, in the ways that I want to. And something's got to give, man. I know so many people who feel the same way as I do. I'm preaching to the choir. I know I am. Something's got to give, man.
Hello everyone, it's Emmanuel Cooke. Today we will be reacting to a new video, and I hope that you guys enjoy the video.
I hate that our ability to access rest and pursue joy is hindered by the fact that we need to make money, that capitalism exists, and I especially hate this for Black women and women of color because we and our ancestors have already sacrificed enough.
I'm seriously tired of existing in a capitalistic world. Because it doesn't matter how many times I express I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I need medicated, etc., etc. The reality is that living under a capitalistic state and being in poverty means that you don't have the time or space to afford to actually take care of yourself. And that's the whole point. We're not given the time or space to take care of ourselves under a capitalistic system because in a capitalistic system, they don't want the non-white people to keep existing. So instead, let's just make it harder and let's just add a lot more barriers for them to be able to receive the help that they need. I'm tired. I'm over it. And I just want the United States to crumble. That's all.
I don't know if anybody else is feeling me right now, but I gotta say this wholeheartedly. I am getting sick and tired of waking early as fuck and working my ass off every day for the man. Like, humans weren't built for this type of lifestyle. Oh, I even read the other day that apparently we're supposed to sleep in segments, not the full 8 hours. And the only reason why for those 8 hours is because for the most part that's the only time allotted to us to actually rest, since we can't rest during a 9 to 5 business day. Did y'all fucking know that shit? Also, why the fuck do we have to stand for 8 hours, and why is that considered a professionalism when in reality most office/business meetings have all of the people sitting down? I just can't think of any other words other than the system to define what the working class is going through, you know? Oh no, I know, honey buns. Babe, I completely understand what you're saying, and the word that you're looking for is capitalism.
I just have to go on a rant for a second. I was looking at concert tickets for a concert in December. Like, the highest place that you could sit in this concert is almost $500 a ticket. I'm just so tired of everything in life trying to make it so that everyday people can't afford to do these fun activities. Like, life is truly sucking the fun out of every experience for all of us because we could barely afford to do these experiences anymore. I've been to so many concerts in my life, like more than I could probably count. And to pay $500 for a ticket, that would usually be a pit ticket, not at the top of the fucking orchestra. Like, enough is enough. We are all just barely hanging on here. Let us enjoy the simple things in life. Like, these should not be luxuries.
Can't be the only person who feels completely disconnected from their real life. The world feels divided into two groups. Yes, I'm generalizing. The 60% of Americans that make less than $40K a year, and then like everyone else, and there is no middle class. So it's just like the poor people and then the rich people. I realize this is not like revolutionary. I'm just like trying to verbalize what I've been feeling at my job. It's either the poor people or like the rich people. I am on like the poor side of that, okay? My family. Like, there are those of us that are on the less than 40K a year train and cannot for the life of us get out of it. And then there's the other side. Thank God for Callie, because if I didn't have her, and if TikTok goes away, it's just awkward. I feel disconnected from everyone. People in my life are like, are you going on any trips this year? Are you doing anything fun this weekend? No. A trip? Like, with what money? How could I go on a trip? Or like, people in your family are like asking you what's been going on lately. I'm just surviving. That's the only thing that we can do. The world is literally like falling apart. It's just so awkward to like operate within these spaces.
I really don't like capitalism. Like, I just really realize how unsustainable this is. Like, y'all, I am going through a lot right now. But because of, school and work, you don't really get time. Just sit down and grieve over the things you lost, or think about or process all the emotions that you have right now. It's like, if I just shut down for 3 months, I'm going to get fired. And if I shut down for 6 months, I could fail out of school. It's like capitalism in the society we are in doesn't have a space for you not to have it all together. You got to keep going. You got to keep putting up numbers. You got to keep putting up buckets. And you're not even 100% yourself. And so lately, I've been feeling like I'm just on autopilot, just doing the things I'm supposed to do, knowing that deep down inside, I really don't feel that great. But I don't even have time to process it because it's so much happening in life right now. And it's like, I feel like if I miss it, if I stop, if I shut down in these pivotal moments in my career, I'm going to regret it 10, 20 years later.
So one of the biggest themes that I've noticed in my practice during these last several weeks is that people are tired of living in America. They're tired of being an American. They're tired of existing. They're tired of just living. And they're just tired of being not okay all the time.
You know what absolutely just irks my soul? The fact that the government is raising prices on all of our necessities like gas and rent and food, but they're not raising the pay on any job. It's like they are purposely trying to create homelessness. And what blows my mind, about 4 or 5 years ago, rent was reasonable. But in the past year or two, since the pandemic happened, the prices just have went through the roof. If a single mom of 2 kids is only making $2,500 a month, but rent for a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,200 to $1,500 a month, plus you have a car note, you have to have car insurance, or that's another penalty. You have to buy food, you have to have gas to get back and forth to work. Sometimes you have to pay people to keep your kids so you can go to work. So how do you honestly expect anyone to survive off of this little change that they're giving us? But what really blows my mind, the fact that we, the people, the masses, are allowing them to do this. And people love to yell, oh, it's nothing we can do about it. We can't do anything about it. What we have to understand is that the government is a very small percentage of the population. If the rest of the masses decided that, no, we're not paying any more bills, we're not paying rent, we demand a raise, we demand more money, or we're not going to work, tell me what else can they do but abide by our demands? But y'all are too afraid to do that for some reason. We can't get together to accomplish this goal. But the government is very smart. That's why they create so many distractions to prevent us from even having this thought or idea even coming together. Every time you turn on the news, it's something. Whether it's politics, whether it's violence, it's always something to keep our minds off joining together to overthrow the government. If too many people have this mindset that I have, the government, they definitely do not want that. They want us to abide by their man-made rules and continue to suffer. The rich is getting richer and the poor is getting poorer. Just look around. I live in Tennessee. Every day I pass by a homeless person on every single corner. But this is supposed to be one of the richest countries in the world, but we have our own citizens out in the street. And they're going to be more because, look around. Look at the cost of everything. It's making it hard for anybody to survive.
Eating lunch in my car, and to be honest, I've never felt more peace. My car is warm because it was sitting in the sun. There's no noise around me. There's no work noise. I am calm. I'm away from fluorescent lighting. I have windows in my car. I am actually so at peace right now. And I'm actually really upset now because I just realized that my lunch is over. So unfortunately, I have to leave my car and go back into work. So yeah, I'm pretty upset.
The real trap of capitalism is that you're working so hard that you want to live alone. The thought of living with your family, the thought of living with a bunch of other people is so exhausting to even entertain that notion. You need your peace, you need your quiet, you need your isolation so that you can have your morning routine, your night routine. You don't want to cook with someone else talking to you in the kitchen. You don't have any energy left over. So to afford this lifestyle, you work more and more and more. And the more you work, the more isolation you crave. And therefore, the more expensive your requirements become. Whereas if you worked half the hours, you might have double the energy and be able to live with double the people and pay half the rent. You might find you no longer need such a rigorous morning and night routine. You no longer need so much peace, so much quiet, so much isolation, and you don't even need as much money. Obviously, this is such a simple way to view this. When I was working full-time, all I wanted was to live alone. Anyone speaking to me when I got home made me so frustrated because I was just so deeply burnt out. I always thought that my personal freedom lied in making more money, and while in one sense it does, in another sense it also doesn't.
One of my least favorite things about capitalism is the fact that we are never allowed to rest, grieve, or recover after something traumatic or difficult happens. Like when we lose somebody we really care about, when we go through something really difficult, like a bout with suicidal ideation or a suicidal attempt or whatever, and we survive, how are we received? How do we receive ourselves? Are we given time to rest, to recover, to kind of restore ourselves? The answer is no. The answer is so often no, unless you have like hella money, because we have to go to work, because we have to afford our bills, because we have to pay for shit, because we have to get exploited, because the elite people in capitalism have to get their money. Even within mental health, therapists so often are just trying to get us back to a normal life and get us back to work or get us back to school. But we don't need that shit because we need to rest and we need to restore and we need to rejuvenate. Anyways, I'm just venting to y'all.
I don't want to go to college or get a job. I want to make out. Sue me.
What's up, y'all? I just wanted to hop on here real quick and tell you a reflection I just had literally 2 seconds ago while sitting on my couch. I have been sitting on my couch all day. It is almost 4 o'clock. In part because I wasn't feeling well today and I was really tired. I was getting ready to sit here and tell myself, you've been a waste of space today. Today was a wasteful day. And I caught myself and I said, nah, whose voice is that? That is capitalism. That is all the things telling me that I can't sit and rest because it's not valuable. It's not productive. Instead, I said, today was a restful day. Today was a day for rest. And we do not see rest as productive, as necessary, as useful, right? Because we're taught to be machines. Y'all, you hear me? You hear what I'm saying? I need you to hear what I'm saying. Today was a restful day.
Real question, how are y'all finding joy under capitalism? Like, y'all cannot tell me that anybody is truly happy to be getting up every day, working 5 to 7 days a week, sometimes working more than one job, and having very little time to rest. And the fact that we are expected to do this for 40 to 50 years and then have 10 years left or 20 years left at the end to enjoy the fruits of your labor in your retirement. Like, who came up with this system? Well, we know who came up with it, but it's not working. People have no money to do anything that they enjoy, to do anything outside of the bare necessities, and sometimes aren't even able to do that. And the fact that this is all the result of corporate greed, I genuinely feel like we cannot continue on like this. Like, this is simply not sustainable. Not to mention the mental and physical and emotional health impacts that capitalism has on people, myself included. Like, it just makes everything seem so bleak. And it's like, what's the point of even going forward or trying to get a certain job or get a certain level of education if it's not actually going to really improve your quality of life that significantly? Like, I don't want to get rich quick scheme. I don't want to start my own business. I don't want to work every single day, all day for the rest of my life. I just want to exist because I genuinely feel like that's what we were put on this earth to do. And anything outside of that that you want to do or you find enjoyable is great. But this current system that we have is not sustainable and we are not living correctly.
I'm gonna let you guys know how it turns out for me, but I'm being so real right now. Like, I'm quitting my job in June, and I don't think I want to get another 9 to 5 until I start seeing motion in my own career, because I just seen this girl's video about how this country is basically becoming dystopian. No one cares about us unless you're doing a 9 to 5 that actually helps someone, like being a doctor. Then yeah, good for you. That's actually lit. But like, if you're doing a job where it's just like you're working at KFC and you don't need the job, like you don't necessarily like. It's hard to say you don't need it because in cost of living in it, but like, say it's a job where it's like, cool, it's helping you to live your luxuries, getting yours, just drop it. If you have like a small business, work on it. I've seen so many inspirational stories on YouTube. Like, we as a people need to wake up, like the consciousness. I feel like this is more than just a 9 to 5. Like, if your 9 to 5 is taking over your life, it's lowering your vibration and it's also holding you back and helping you to lack faith in yourself. So I'm quitting my job in June.
All right, so everyone, when they get like super tired of capitalism, like, you know, at some point in their lives, wants to be like, oh, like socialism, like communism, like that's the way to go, like, but like, I think that personally, people forget that governments are made up of people. Sure, rich people, you know, people of a certain race, right, or whatever, but I inherently fight for the fact that, like, it matters not what form of government you have if the people don't care about each other. That's why it's like Jesus was talking about love thy neighbor, you know? Muhammad and the whole concept of Islam is trying to teach us to, like, share and, like, donate and, like, be charitable, you know? If we don't help each other as citizens, it doesn't matter what form of government we have, you know?
Let's take a quick second here to talk about this recession, and let's talk about these layoffs. I made a TikTok last summer where I said that this incoming recession was manufactured. Like, this is going to be made up, right? How do you cause a recession? You lay people off and then they can't buy things. That's a recession. All these layoffs at like Microsoft and Google and Amazon. Do you think that Amazon is not profitable month over month? Do you think that they're not making a profit? Do you think Google does not have enough money and they need to lay people off for the health of the company? Absolutely not. That is not what is going on here. What is going on here is that for the first time in a very long time, employees started to have leverage, could negotiate for the salaries for themselves. The market was great. That doesn't work for the people at the top. That doesn't work for Jeff Bezos. And that doesn't make shareholders happy either. So how do you put people back in their place? You lay off, a decent portion of the company. You drive wages back down, and you make people that are still unemployed grateful to have a job in general. Beyonce just sang for an hour and made $24 million, and people in America can't afford eggs. Kylie Jenner wore Mufasa's head to a fashion show. We are literally living in the Hunger Games at this point. Like, we are looking at people dressed like they're from the Capitol in the Hunger Games, and the rest of us are out here wondering, why the hell is a bag of flour like $40? So my question is, and I feel terrible for all of the people that are suffering from the layoffs, my question is, when are we going to really start realizing that it's not me against you, but it's us against them? Because that's what's really terrifying to them. Like, Google can get rid of 10,000 employees. It's not, whatever. But what if every employee at Google stood up collectively and said, we're not doing this anymore? Google would crumble and collapse, and then their shareholders would be really unhappy. I love TikTok partially because it lets us communicate with each other like this, and this is what we need to get better at doing. We need to get better at doing what the people did for us decades ago, which got us labor laws, got us the weekends off, got us child labor laws. Collective bargaining, coming together and understanding that we are never going to be those billionaires, and those billionaires look at us like we are little worker ants, and they don't care. Y'all, we have the power together. We have the power with each other, right? They don't. They like to scare us and make us think we don't have the power, but we do. We just need to get better at remembering that.
Okay, so I need your guys' opinion on this. Somebody commented on one of my posts, and I agree with this person, right? It's like, okay, when are we going to start protesting? Like, to everybody who this applies to, please, if you don't care, if you think your government's treating you greatly and everything is great, this is not for you. For the people who feel like we are being duped, where the government is getting over on us, when are we going to put our foot down and say, okay, listen, we need to start protesting? I see other countries protest. People get out there, they make their points, and I'm not saying be violent at all. All I'm saying is, when are we going to let them know we're tired of what's going on? Like, there's no answers for nothing. You got all these derailments, all these different chemicals being put into the air. You got these supposed UFOs that are being shot down. The president isn't addressing it. Nobody's addressing us. We're not happy with what's going on. Where do we go? Somebody let me know I'm there. Sign me up. I'm there.
Is anyone else concerned that we're paying taxes to drop bombs and then donating money to get aid into Gaza, and then Israelis destroy that? And then we're paying to evacuate people from Gaza, all while Israel is destroying the environment. And then we pay more taxes to drop more bombs, and that destroys the environment even further. And we're also bankrolling the benefits that Israelis get to enjoy but Americans don't. And our bridges are collapsing, and our healthcare is garbage. And GoFundMe is the biggest health insurance provider. And then we just continue to transfer wealth. Or is it just me?
Anybody else just sick of this shit? Just sick of it. Sick and tired of this shit. Cause same. Realizing that I can't afford to live. Bro, what? I work full-time hours and I can't afford insurance, because if I opted for insurance for me and my dependents, guess what? I would work full-time just to make sure I have insurance. I wouldn't even be getting paid. I would owe them money. So I wouldn't be getting money to pay my bills. My rent just skyrocketed and I can't afford it. So I have less than 30 days to move, and everybody else is asking for 2 to 3 times the rent. 2 to 3 times. I can't even speak. Who the fuck makes that? Yet, have y'all seen what's going on with our government? They can't even pay their own bills. But I'm gonna just leave it at that. Are y'all paying attention? Like, we can't afford to live or die, because then you got to pay for that shit too. It's just like, I know I'm not alone. Neither are you. But who said this was the dream? Because this is a fucking nightmare.
If you're still confused, let me break this down for you. Imagine you just bought a fish, right? You just got a fish tank, you feel me? You filling it with water every day, you changing the water when you're supposed to, feeding it when you're supposed to. Everything is cool, right? No, because that fish is always on your timing, bro. That fish cannot survive without you. It's forever going to be operating in your system, so it will never be free. Do you think it'd rather be in that tank or in the sea, bro? The same thing in America, bro. You could create a business, you could discover yourself. It's always going to be built around a system. You can't operate and do anything outside of this, bro. And anybody that come close to creating any sort of solution in that direction, what happens to them, bro? They get packed up, bro. They take them out. Like, as long as you are a part of this system, whether you are an entrepreneur or you're employed, you are not fucking free. And that's what I'm trying to explain, bro. To get true freedom, we have to break this whole shit down, bro. And there's no other way around it, bro. I don't want to revamp the system. I don't want changes. I don't want this. I want this shit gone, bro. And I don't understand like why people just don't be on that same time. Like, I still see people saying, oh, it's just the way it is. You gotta go. Anybody saying that it's the way to go, I don't ever want to have a conversation with you, bro. Because that just shows me you just stuck. You can't think outside of something that was given to you and it's not even for you. Like, do you understand that?
You didn't go to college? Well, that just means you're going to be working in retail for the rest of your life. Have fun with that. You went to college, but you majored in English? Oh my God, what a useless degree. You should have gotten something useful. You went to college, but you majored in computer science? What an oversaturated market. You should have gone to trade school and learned something that is practical. You went to trade school and thought people were just gonna hand you a job afterward and pat you on the back for doing a good job? You have to know people in trade to do well. You should have gone to college instead. You went to college and only got an undergrad degree? Nobody cares about undergrad degrees anymore. You have to get a master's in order to be like actually impressive. You went and got a master's and spent all that money? What a waste of money. Now you're just drowning in student loans. Plus, the most anybody's gonna ever pay you these days is $25 an hour. Good luck paying back all of that student loan debt.
You know, I am so tired of looking for a job. Like, y'all, I really am just so tired looking for. I'm not even looking for a job. I'm looking for a second part-time job. I already got a part-time, but I am so tired of this shit. Like, y'all, when I tell y'all, it's like not even worried. I'm not even worried about like what. I'm not even worried about what's gonna happen next at this point. Like, I just give up. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, it's like you doing your job, but you just your job just weighs you down, and it's like I've experienced toxic workplaces and non-toxic workplaces. It's not that I hate my job. It's more like I'm just tired of working. Like, everything costs so fucking high. Everything is so high. Everything is so expensive. I got a whole driver's license and I haven't had a car since 2020. I was in a car accident, but even when I try to get myself back up, I got myself back up a lot last year. I must admit that. But I am so tired of working. Everything just goes up and up and up and up and up. And it's like, it's not getting any better. And it's like, America, what is this? This is ghetto. This is ghetto. Like, it's big ghetto, but it's ghetto. It's ghetto-er. I'm serious. Like, I don't understand it, man. Like, I go to work, and when I go to work, I do my job, but it's like I feel like I'm doing more than what I. This is not okay, like, especially because I do warehouse. It's wear and tear on your body, so I feel like that's what it's starting to do. Like, I don't like that. It's affecting my mental health. It's like I'm still holding on because this, like, I know this economy bad, but it's like, damn. I mean, it's getting bad, bro.
Moving away from using capitalism to meet your needs and moving towards community to meet your needs.
So that creator is talking from the perspective of having lived outside capitalism for a period of time and finding that there are three main things that you can't avoid paying money for. And that is healthcare, housing, and utilities. And I've been doing a little bit of an experiment this year, trying to find how many things that I regularly pay for that I could actually make free for myself. And that's been partly out of financial pressures, out of burnout and not wanting to spend my time doing the work that I am experienced at doing. And what I'm finding is that when you try to operate outside of our money system, when you try to operate for free, you end up using other types of capital. So I dated this guy. It did not go well, but he was brilliant and came up with this concept of the 4 kinds of capital. So that is financial capital, money, social capital, friendships, connections, community support, temporal capital, time, and intellectual capital, knowing things. And this is a fantastic way to think about problem solving in the money system, to think about ways to get creative about how to make things free. A few days ago, Shelly put out a post and said, hey, I make this beautiful art. I really need a website built. Is anybody a graphic designer? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a graphic designer. I would love some of Shelly's art. And so then I did the same thing. I was like, well, I need audio production. I would be happy to make a logo for somebody if they would just show me how to edit my audio recordings. And this is leveraging social capital. For anybody who is a content creator here, you have a vast amount of social connections that you're able to make on an otherworldly level that didn't used to be possible. Anybody who's ever been in financial straits will understand the idea of using temporal capital. It is essentially making things instead of buying them, spending time making dinner instead of buying dinner, although that one seems to be going the other way these days. Spending more time doing stuff that other people did the stuff for you and then tried to sell it back to you. Also, all 3 types of capital, you can always make more of them. Temporal capital is the only one that you never get more of. Intellectual capital, so knowing things and being able to study things. This is why universities are able to charge money, because it is valuable to know something. And increasingly, of course, degrees are less and less useful and more expensive. And so the calculus for, oh, well, can I just learn something through YouTube videos? That scale is starting to tip. And as I continue on this community living, learning how to make things more and more free for myself, as capitalism becomes more and more crushing, I learn all kinds of really cool creative ways of meeting my needs. And I'm really curious if any of you have figured out how to not pay for those 3 things that I listed in the beginning.
I'm tired, but I'll keep fighting. I have been let down by systems, I've been let down by community, and I'm tired of needing to always fight. I'm tired of the gaslighting and victim shaming. I'm tired of having less rights than a criminal. I'm tired of not being able to hold those responsible accountable. I'm tired and I'm frustrated that the people that are supposed to represent me don't give a shit about me. It doesn't matter what is right or wrong. The laws are just flaws, and what really matters is what one can do to help their friend. I am tired of fighting, but to my core, I am a fighter, so I'll keep fighting. I'll keep speaking, even if my voice shakes. I'll keep shouting till I'm listened to. I'll continue to speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. I am tired, but I am not weak.
That is it for today. I appreciate you guys watching the video, and like, comment, and subscribe down below, and see you in the next video.